Hi, welcome to DaVinci Arts Integrated 7 class. I'm sorry I'm not able to be with you tonight, but I hope that this will be informative for you so that your child can be successful. My name is Jason Hegelke. I've been teaching here, I think, 7 years now. I've been teaching for 15 years as a science teacher in middle school. I really enjoy middle school energy, and I think it's a great time for kids to get excited and fall in love with science. So a couple things that I want to go over with you. I always had Advanced Organizer when the students come in, so I'm going to use that right now for this. So I want to quickly talk about journals. Hopefully you're able to find them. You can look at after the conferences, but you might just want to glance through their journals. There's not a lot in there yet, but one thing that you might want to look at is this is their guideline sheet. They looked at the syllabus, students look at the syllabus, and they kind of filled out what are the important things for me to be successful. So that might be something that you might be curious to look at yourself for that. And they use the syllabus that is actually available. I have 50 copies here. I also have this online on my website, hegelke.weebly.com, so you can also download it. We're going to try to save on trees, but there is the syllabus, and you're more than welcome to look at it tonight. And so the glue sticks. So a couple other things is that we are always using glue sticks to glue things in, as you saw from the journal, and so we can always use more glue sticks as donations. Coming up, we would like to do a fundraiser as a science department to raise money for Chromebooks. We find that using technology, the Google Chromebooks, to be incredibly helpful for students to have access to technology, and we need some more Chromebooks in the classroom so that we have open accessibility. A couple of things here. We're using textbooks. These are the 3 different textbooks that we're using this year since it's integrated approach. So it's life science, physical science, and earth science. Students aren't checked out of these. They have to leave them in the class, but you can check them out at the library, or they can use online. They should be able to have access to online via my website as well. A couple other things over here is this is where students, if students are absent, they can go to here and actually pick up the sheets, including the journal setups that they get included every day if we have a new journal setup for work, for makeup work. And then this is the turn-in box right next to it. Okay? And again, hopefully you enjoy the rest of this presentation and get to float some boats here at the end with Mr. Evans. Thank you. Okay, so the idea is integrated 7th is that they're doing multiple core ideas in 1 year. So we'll be talking about these 3 first, density being the one we're working on now. And then ecology, and then atoms, matter, periodic table, plate tectonics with the emphasis on earthquakes, force and motion. The other components, other than just your typical core ideas, is that the idea of a scientist and their engineering practices. So various things from engineering to analyzing to planning to using math and constructing ideas and communicating information. The last part is cross-cutting, where they actually want to make connections between all the different core ideas using these various focus. So the science journals is the thing they take home and they use a lot in class too. They write down diagrams, vocabulary, explanations. They're recording data from their activities in class. They're also processing information using analysis questions to prompt them and reflection prompts that we give once in a while for them to really think about what they're learning about. We do assess them. We give them a journal quiz once every couple weeks to make sure that they are keeping up on their work. It is a fairly low impact score, so I usually tell students keep up on it. It won't be a problem. It's open note. So this would be a nice looking journal with a lot of information here and well set up. So now how do we do assessment? So we use various things. So assessment questions from the book that they actually get a separate worksheet for that they turn into me. Obviously lab practice, engineering sheets from anything from analysis, hypothesis, graphing, to various different worksheets that I'll provide them. These are some of the projects that we'll do this year. Multiple choice journal quizzes and self-generated questions where they do a presentation, usually 60 seconds to 120 seconds long. Homework usually is working on these bigger projects and maybe some reviewing of information and sometimes overflow for analysis questions they were supposed to work. So going back, So how we do assessment is we use proficiency level system. So we want all students to be at proficient levels working at this, where they completely answer or give enough information to fulfill the requirement for that assessment. Highly proficient means that the student is doing, of course, all of the proficient, but also some other ideas of how they might fulfill additional information or innovation. And we really want to push students to think further than just what we ask them to do for an assignment or for assessment. The other part would be the close to proficiency. This means there's missing something or there's a minor problem. So they just need to fix it, and you'll see by this almost key that it's almost there, right? It's about there, okay? It's close to. The redo bar or the refresh bar, it means they're developing proficiency, meaning they're not quite giving the right information, and so they kind of have to redo certain segments. They might have a misconception that they want to make sure they learn about why it's wrong and then correcting so that they actually have a better science understanding at the end. So we want them to all be working at that. So here's what a rubric would look like, and here's an example. So proficient, highly proficient. So the feedback they would receive, and they get this ahead of time, so this is something that you might be able to help out as parents, is they click on these areas here. So this means I've seen it, there's evidence provided. If I have a circle around the box, that means it's missing, or sometimes if the box is not filled in, that would be missing. Okay, so that needs to just be added in. For that. If it's circled like this is a misconception. So if I circle, I'll usually use circle in red. That means that actually there's a misconception, and that's why they had the redo sign on top. That they had to do more than just that adding, but they had to actually correct some of the calculations there. And then you can see here it says and. That means they need to do both these things for proficiency, for highly proficient. There might be an or, and those are just ideas of other ways that they could show they're highly proficient. So what can you do as a parent? Obviously, practicing good habits is huge for them. Having them advocate for their own learning, having them email me if they have questions. It's really important to be a second pair of eyes, especially previewing the work they turn in with the rubrics and encouraging them to do their best. The idea of checking their synergy and revising their work, and having them email me and helping them out with that. If there are problems with organizing their time, check the homework on the websites, or you can use the planner. You can always email me, and we can have a meeting so we can have some plans and figure it out. There's some various ways that I can help you, and I'll show you that on my website. So tutorial time is a new thing that I'm going to do during lunch and after school on Wednesdays. So I figure that's the time for kids to do test retakes or revisions, or if they need some help with revising some work. So here's my website, hegelkey.weebly.com. There's always volunteers welcome. I run the water garden. The science career Q&As are always helpful for kids to think about science in their future, and other projects that we may have down the line. So I want to show you the website here. So here's the website, and I'll show you. There's the top URL, and you'll see here's the main part of it, and you can see the calendar. And if you hit more, you can click on these and hit more, then you can get more information. And usually if there's a worksheet involved, you click on this, you can subscribe to my calendar if you have Google Calendar. Click here and you can actually become part of the Remind texting updates. I would encourage you and your child, if you have access, to get those quick little reminders of things that are due. And here's the syllabus online, the textbook online, and then Synergy. And if you want to read additional information about NGSS, you can click on here. All right, thank you so much. I hope you guys have a nice night, and look forward to talking to you in the future.